When I was 9, my parents read my secret diary and punished me for what I've written inside. Now they're asking me why I'm being lazy and not keeping a journal anymore. When I was little, I used to write and draw in my diary almost every single day, and when I became 9 years old, a family friend from Germany gave me a beautiful diary with a lock on it. Knowing that I like keeping a diary, the diary came with 2 keys for the lock. After the kind lady who gave me the diary left, my parents demanded that I surrender one of the 2 keys to them. I refused. A few days later, one of the 2 keys disappeared. When I asked my parents about it, they became mad at me for suspecting them. They told me I must have been careless. For the following weeks, I wrote my honest thoughts in the diary, sometimes complaining about my parents. Every time I finished writing, I carefully locked my diary. In the meantime, I also searched everywhere for the missing key but couldn't find it. One day, I came home after school and found my diary wide open on my desk. On every single used page of the diary, I found that my mom corrected my grammar and writing style in red pen. Also in a red pen and tiny handwriting, my mom disapproved of what I wrote about my parents, and she wrote long commentaries about why I am wrong. As I was flipping through the pages and feeling shocked, my parents told me to come out of my room because they have something important to talk about. That night I got a beating from my dad. My parents said I left my diary open so they got to see what I wrote down. They said they were disappointed. I cried and promised them that I will never write anything bad about them. We came to some sort of an agreement. I will continue to write diaries every day, but at the end of each day I should bring my diary to be inspected by my mother so that she can check up on my grammar. They threw away my lock and its key, saying it's wrong to hide things away from people who truly care about me. From that day, I started to become extremely conscious about what I write, and started to feel anxiety. Every time I wrote something in my diary, I constantly thought about what will people think if they read this. Being conscious about the implication of my writing isn't a bad habit, but it made me hide my true thoughts and emotions, and every time I wrote or drew something on a piece of paper, I destroyed it immediately afterwards, because I was scared my mom might see it. A couple of years later, I stopped writing and drawing in diaries. There was just one time I started writing diaries again, but it didn't last long. One day I came home to find my mom in my room, reading over my diary. I asked her to put it down, and she yelled at me, saying that I shouldn't treat her like a stranger. So I stopped using that diary and began writing on my laptop. But my parents had the habit of coming into my room without knocking. They still do that now. They would often come into my room, stare at my screen, and read my writings aloud. If they find it funny, they would yell at their partner to come inside and take a look, so that they can laugh at it together. So I stopped the activity of journaling and writing entirely. 10 years passed, and a week ago I found one of the keys to my diary in a small drawer where we keep all our keys. I showed my parents and asked why they lied to me about the key when one of them went missing. They got mad. They told me they just found the key recently and put it in the drawer. I didn't believe them. I also didn't believe them back when they told me that I left my diary open. And yesterday I was trying to remember something from earlier this year. My mom walked by, tutted and told me that I would have remembered it had I just kept writing diaries. I got extremely angry, but there was nothing I could do. Trying to talk with my mom will only make things worse because she does not want to be in the position of being criticized. Thanks to her and her stupid sidekick husband, now I am terrified of writing anything physically on paper, and now my hands are shaking as I'm writing this. I could never share this story with anyone, and I don't have many friends who are close enough to hear this story. Writing this somewhat made me calm down, but I will never forgive them for crippling my ability to write diaries and remember my past.